Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. This is Dr. Stephanie, your double board certified critical care physician who works with physicians that are struggling with their jobs, burnt out with their careers, or who just want some career advice. Through my books, webinars, coaching, and speaking, I help physicians discover alternative jobs and careers in medicine so that they can practice medicine on their own terms. And welcome to this special edition of Let's Talk Tuesday. And this this episode of Let's Talk Tuesday is sponsored by Floyd Lee Locums. You can go to their website at www.floydleelocums.com. But before we get started, I have a favor for you guys. If you are watching me live, show me some love in the comments. Let me know where you're watching me from. If you're watching me on replay, press replay. If you like a comment, press the like button. If you love the comment, press the love button. And please feel free to share this and tag somebody that you think could really use this information. So like I said, tonight's episode of Let's Talk Tuesday is sponsored by Floyd Lee Locums. And tonight we're going to talk about the one thing that you can do that will absolutely improve your chances of success as a locums doctor. And this is the reason why I wanted to talk about this. A lot of people are interested in doing locums. A lot of people have kind of dibbled and dabbled into doing locums, but they really haven't found the success and the opportunities that they were hoping that they would by transitioning to locums. So I decided to share with you guys the one thing that I have done to be successful as a locums doctor. And I've been doing locums for the most part for the last 10 years. So I wanted to share with you all the one thing that I have done that has consistently delivered and consistently made sure that I am able to work as a locums doctor. And this one thing is traveling. The one thing that you can do to make sure that you always have a locums job and always have a locums assignment is to travel. The key is you have to be willing and able to travel to the assignments, to go to where the opportunities are. And there's several reasons why traveling as a locums doctor is going to increase your odds of success. And you have to realize that the real reason for this is that there are more opportunities when you are willing to travel, because the greatest need for locums is in underserved areas. And underserved areas are more often rural areas. And so that means that you're probably going to have to travel. You're not going to have as many opportunities to do locums in the larger cities because they have plenty of physicians to fill the need for that. So therefore, most of the opportunities are going to be several hours away from your larger metropolitan areas. So even if you don't want to travel to another state, you may need to be willing to travel within your state a couple of hours from where you live in order to meet those locums opportunities, in order to take advantage of those locums opportunities. Because like I said, most of the locums opportunities are in underserved areas. Now, you all know that I travel all the time. I live in Houston, Texas, but I've done locums everywhere, Indiana, Illinois, West Virginia, North Carolina. I'm currently on assignment in St. Croix. Oh, poor me. But I just left an assignment in East Texas. So the reason why I'm able to work so consistently is because I am willing and able to travel. So that is one reason why you should do it, is because of the fact that there are more opportunities available outside your area. Now, this is something that people really don't talk about, and I had to learn the hard way. One of the reasons why you may have to travel for locums is because you may be locked out of your local market. Hey, Tamisha, how are you? Thanks for joining. You may be locked out of your local market. And what I mean by this is, for those of us who have worked at a hospital or healthcare organization or a practice, you know that if you've worked as an employed physician, your contract more than likely has a no-compete clause or a restrictive covenant, which basically says you cannot work within a certain mile radius for a certain amount of time. And the larger or healthcare organizations write that restrictive covenant so that not only are you kind of locked out of working within a certain mile radius of the actual site you used to work, they may make it so that you can't work in within a certain mile radius of any of their other sites or campuses or hospitals. So you have to be very careful about that. And if that's something that applies to you, you may find that you are locked out of your local market. In my case, because I've done locums so much, and I've worked in so many hospitals and organizations in the Houston area, whenever a locums opportunity comes up in one of those facilities, I'm already known to them, and they're like, well, we already know her, so I can't work at that facility through a locums company. So you may be locked out of your local job market based on whether or not you have to adhere to a no-compete clause that you had from a prior job. And if that's the case, in order to work, you're either going to have to move to another location. And if you can't move or unwilling to move at that time, your best bet may be to do locums and to travel to do locums so that you're not in violation of your restrictive covenant. So that's another reason why you may have to travel, is because you may be locked out of your local market as a result of the no compete clauses that you may have to adhere to for the time being. Now, I always talk to people about traveling for locums because it's not as bad as it seems. Now, I do understand that a lot of people cannot travel because you have families, you have small kids, and it's not feasible for you to be away from home. I understand that and I get that. But for those of us who can travel, I highly recommend it, not only for the reasons that I've stated above, but because traveling for locums really isn't as bad as it seems. The locums companies make it as convenient as they can for you. They make your flight, they make your travel accommodations, they cover your flight, your hotel, and your car rental. And there are a lot of travel perks that you can get. So when you do travel for locums, and you should sign up for, the rapid rewards programs, the frequent flyer programs, the hotel programs, and all of the also car rental programs. And I tell you, y'all, I have so many frequent flyer miles. It's been a long time since I've actually had to pay to fly anywhere. I have so many hotel points that I can stay up to a week for free just about anywhere. So that's always a good thing. And the thing is, you have to realize this: when you travel for a locums assignment, you are there to work. You're not there to socialize. You're not there to make friends. You're not there to have fun. Now, granted, I do socialize and make friends and have fun when I go on locums assignment because, it's a small world. You're going to know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. And you're going to meet some cool people. But that's not the whole purpose of it. You're not going because you're trying to go to this fabulous place and have a fabulous time. You're going to work, and you're going to work your 8 hours or your 12 hours. You're going to go straight from the hotel to work and back. But here's the thing. When you go and you travel for a locums assignment, your days are actually a little less complex and complicated than they are when you are at home. And the reason being is because it's a small town. When I worked in Houston, my commute was a minimum of 40 minutes. And I know a lot of doctors who work in large towns, your commute is an hour. So that means your 14-hour day is actually a 12-hour day. And that's tough. But when I am in a small town for my locums assignment, y'all, my hotel is 5 minutes from the hospital. So I can leave my hotel room at 6:50. I'm driving into the parking deck at 6:55 and walking in to start my shift at 7 o'clock. That's life-changing. One of the places where I do locums, the hotel is a 30-second drive from the airport. Those types of things are life-changing. So truly, my 12-hour shifts, my 12-hour workday is truly a 12-hour workday, maybe 12 hours and 10 minutes. And those are the types of things that are kind of life-changing. So then you're done with work, you go back to the hotel and you chill. And so those are the kind of things that make it, make it manageable. So let's take a couple of time and go through the questions and comments. So Dr. Lauer, hey, Dr. Teresa, thanks for joining. What about learning all the EMR systems? Well, you know what? I've learned all of them, and they're all basically the same. Some are better than others, some are worse. But this is how you have to think about the EMR systems. You only have to learn how to do the basic things. First of all, you just need to figure out how to get the information you need, the labs, the radiographic studies, access to the progress notes, history and physicals, whatever. So first of all, you need to figure out how to get access to the information that you need. Secondly, you have to figure out how to enter orders. Okay, and then figure out how to write your note. So if you figure out those things, how to access the information that you need, how to enter orders, and how to write your notes, that's really all you need to learn from these EMR systems. And then the fourth thing is how to submit your charges, whether or not you submit your charges electronically via the EMR system, or you just turn in a hard copy of your billing slips at the end of the day. But if you just kind of look at the EMR systems from that standpoint, just learning the 4 basic functions of those EMR systems, that just, makes it a lot easier. And the thing is to remember, there's only 4 or 5 major EMR systems that you're going to be exposed to. So you'll get real used to it real quickly, and it'll get to the point where when you have to go to these orientations for your locums assignments, you're going to be so bored because they're going to want to, have you do a full day of orientation or like 4 hours of orientation. And you're going to be, I know I'm just sitting up here, they're like, listen, I know all of these systems. Just show me how to access the information. Show me how to enter my orders. Show me how to write my note. Can we speed through all of this? Because I'm really tired of being, I don't really want to sit up here. So yeah, learning all the EMR systems is something that should not be a deterrent, because like I said, it's just learn the basic functions of the EMR systems, and there's only so many EMR systems to go around. So that is something that is very, very doable. So Dr. Teresa says, thanks for answering my question. What about if you only prefer practicing outpatient like family medicine? There are a ton of family medicine positions for locums that are available. There's a lot of them. There are a lot of them. So you will not have any problems with that. Like I said, you just have to be willing to go other places. You have to be willing to travel to where the opportunities are, whether or not that's 3 or 4 hours from where you live, or whether or not that it's a 4-hour flight from where you live. There are plenty of opportunities out there, but you just have to be willing to go to where the opportunities exist. Okay. So these are great questions. Thank you so much for asking them. So for the people who just joined, like I said, the one thing that you can do to increase your odds for success as a locums doctor is to get on the road and travel if you can do it. Now, like I said, I understand a lot of people just don't want to travel. A lot of people. Dr. Lowry says, okay, thanks. Pay per hour tel coverage. Yeah, pay per hour is competitive. Locums companies provide your malpractice insurance. Tel coverage is something that you're going to have to work out on your own based on your prior employment. But malpractice insurance for your current locums assignment is provided by the locums company. And like I said, the pay per hour should be very competitive, but that's something that you're going to have to research. And we can talk a little more about that offline. But like I said, the important thing you can do, and that's going to guarantee that you always have some work to do, is to get on the road for locums, to travel for locums. And like I said, if you can't travel, that's understandable for whatever reason. But if you can, it's something you really need to look into, and you really need to be open to those possibilities. There are more opportunities, especially if you travel to places that are underserved. Those are the people that need your services the most, the underserved rural areas. And let's talk about this. Dr. Sophie says, is there outpatient locums? Are you kidding me? There's tons of outpatient locums. We're going to talk about that at the end of this broadcast, because I do have some opportunities that I want to share with you guys right now. Right. So here's the thing. Let's talk about, going to a rural community to travel for locums. Oh, Dr. Natasha Lee of Floyd Lee Locum says that she provides tail within their malpractice. So that's good to know. But for those of you who are leaving a job, and you have left a job or leaving a job, and you need tail coverage from your prior employer, then that's something that you're going to have to work out on your own. Now, the locums companies do provide malpractice insurance for the current assignment. And like Natasha Lee of Floyd Lee Locums, the CEO, said that their company malpractice insurance policies have a tail option in those. But that is a great point, and that is something that you will need to discuss with your locums recruiter. But let's talk about going to a rural area in order to do locums, because I think a lot of people have some hesitation, especially if you are living in a larger city that's more culturally diverse. Sometimes you're a little hesitant to go to what seems like the middle of nowhere. You don't know how you're going to be received. Like I said, I've been doing locums for about 10 years, and I've never had any problems in a rural community than I didn't have in an urban community, based on how people receive you. Either people are going to be nice and polite, or people are going to be jerks. And there's no geographic limitation as to where people are going to be jerks. I mean, I've been treated pretty poorly in some hospitals in Houston, Texas, by other physicians who didn't like me being there simply because they didn't like the whole concept of an intensivist. Whereas I've been treated very well in some rural communities because they're just happy that I'm there. So get out of this notion that going into the middle of nowhere is going to, what is perceived as the middle of nowhere, get out of this notion that going to a rural community is going to be worse for you than staying where you are, because it may not be. Secondly, this is the United States of America, and just about every town has the same things. Just about every town is within 2 to 3 hours of an airport. Just about every town has a decent set of hotel chains, like, Hampton Inn, Holiday Inn, your Marriott chains. So you can stay in a decent hotel. Most towns in America have decent chain restaurants. I mean, there's always an Applebee's or a Chili's or a Texas Roadhouse. Most towns in America have decent grocery stores, and you can always find a Walmart. I've never been any place that I have not been able to get what I needed, whether or not I needed to get, my cell phone repaired. Most places have a Verizon Wireless. Most places have an AT&T. It's been fine. And guess what? If you are doing a locums assignment in a town that doesn't have these things, just stay in the next larger town 15 minutes up the interstate, because that's the great thing about America. We are within, driving distance of major interstates, major highways. If the small town that you're doing locums work in does not have what you need, I guarantee you the town 15 minutes up the highway or the interstate does. I remember talking to a friend of mine who had gone on a locums assignment, and the hotel that she was in was not up to par. She was having some real issues. And I got online and I said, well, this is the town you're in, so let's check with these hotels within the next town 20 minutes up the road. They had nicer quality hotels. I told her to get on the phone with her locums recruiter and tell them where she wanted to stay. They made the changes. She didn't have any problems. So, I just want to encourage everybody to just have a broader understanding of the possibilities, and you will have some really great locums opportunities in some smaller towns. And the reason why you're there is because they just can't, well, first of all, there's a physician shortage, and they just have trouble recruiting and retaining physicians, and these are some great places to work. So if you can travel, travel. So Dr. Lowry says, are most assignments 5 days or 1 week and no nights and weekends, or do you get to choose how many days? You get to choose how many days. You get to work with your locums recruiter, and they work with the client based on the client's needs and your availability. So that's the thing. So what you want to do is, in order for you to have the greatest opportunity to do, hey, Dr. Dawn, in order to have the greatest opportunity, the greatest chances, the greatest number of options, you really need to be willing and able to go to as many places as you can, talk to as many recruiters as you can, have a clear understanding of what you're willing to do and what they're willing to do. So, for example, with me as an intensivist, most places want, like 7 days or, 5 days, and some places want 2 weeks. I'm not giving any place 2 weeks, but I'll give you 7 days. I'll give you 5 days. And some places want emergency coverage. And I just, like I said on one of my Facebook posts, I just did an assignment in East Texas for the weekend because they just really needed help. So there's all sorts of opportunities, but you just have to just look for them. So, are there opportunities for other healthcare professionals in the space? In terms of locums, yes, for physician assistants, for nurse practitioners, CRNAs, there are lots of locums opportunities. If you are an RN, oh my gosh, travel nursing, I'm sorry, y'all. For my physician friends, y'all are going to be mad. I know some travel nurses that make almost as much as some travel doctors do, depending on what they do, where they go. So there are a lot of opportunities for locums, if you call it that, or like travel nursing, if you call it that, just working as an independent contractor and being willing to travel to other locations where the opportunities arise. Okay. So Frank is a pharmacist. Frank, I'm almost pretty sure that there's a need for some pharmacists, and I'm almost pretty sure that you can probably find some pretty good opportunities. I am not familiar with that, but I do know that your services are probably needed as well. So you just may have to look into that as well, also. But yeah, so if you can travel, like I said, more opportunities. Also, like I said, another reason for you to travel is because you may be locked out of your local market based on no compete clauses that a lot of these employers make you sign. And like I said, it's not as bad as it seems to travel for locums assignments. So y'all want to hear something funny? Because, with it being America, and it's always block stores and chain stores and chain restaurants. So right now I'm doing a locums assignment in St. Croix. And so where I go to get most of the stuff I need, there's a Kmart right down the street. So cool. I just fell in love with Kmart in St. Croix because they actually have some cute stuff. I'm not gonna lie. But the thing is this. So when I do a locums assignment in West Virginia, where do I go to get my stuff? Kmart. So I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of falling in love with this whole Kmart thing because 1 week I'm shopping in Kmart in St. Croix. The next week I'm shopping in the Kmart in Elkview, West Virginia. Y'all, it is what it is. Okay? It is what it is. So therefore, like I said, don't be afraid to travel to a rural area. They need doctors too. They're good places to work. And like I said, you're going to be working at the hospital or your office or wherever they have you work. So you're going to go to work and you're going to go back to the hotel. You're going to go to work. You're going to go back to the hotel. Like I said, you're not there to sightsee. You're not there to make friends. You're not there to enjoy the finest, latest cuisine. You are there to work. Girl, Kmart does have some good stuff. It really does. It really does. So I have thoroughly enjoyed my time shopping at Kmart, getting stuff that I probably don't need. But here's the thing. Here's another reason why I like traveling for locums. When I am at work, when I go to work, when I travel for work, my mindset is in the I am at work phase. Okay. But when I get on that plane to return to Houston, I can really enjoy being at home. So it's really good for me because it helps for me to differentiate and to divide work and home, because when I'm away from home, I'm working, and then when I'm at home after my locums assignment is over, I do everything I want to do at home because I don't want to work. So Dr. Teresa says, how do you file your taxes? This is locums takeout. Okay, so as a locums doctor, you're an independent contractor, so the locums company does not take out any taxes. You're responsible for paying your own taxes. You're responsible for paying your own taxes. But here's the great thing. Like I said, this episode is sponsored by Floyd Lee Locums, and they are a concierge locums company. So what does that mean? That means that they will do everything to help you make this a good locums experience, meaning that if you want to travel but you have some hesitations about traveling, let's say you have, concerns about kids or daycare or, even pet sitting services, whatever, they will help you address those needs. Also, they can put you in touch with certified professionals that can help you with things like how to pay your taxes as an independent contractor. They have certified public accountants that they can refer you to. They can help you with things such as purchasing health insurance because they have, insurance brokers they can refer you to. They can help you with things such as your benefits, such as health insurance and life insurance and disability insurance. So all of those issues, all of those things are not reasons to avoid doing locums. What you have to do is work with a company that will help you to address all of these issues that come up. And that is why I like working with Floyd Lee Locums, because they stand apart from the rest of the locums world, because they offer these services so that they can make sure that their doctors have a very positive experience while doing locums. Now, here's the other great thing that we're going to talk about tonight is that there are some current job openings. So for those of you who are not members of my Creating Careers in Medicine Facebook group, this is a group for physicians only. I would highly encourage you to join that group because I post job openings on that group at least once a week and usually every Wednesday. You can search the hashtag job alert. But there are some current job openings that Floyd Lee Locums has. If you're a pulmonologist in South Carolina, there's a lucrative opportunity for you. There's a lucrative opportunity for hospitalists in Maine, lucrative opportunities for urgent care in South Carolina and in Michigan, and also for gastroenterology in Wisconsin. So like I said, thank you all for joining me. Please go to www.floydleelocums.com, and I would highly encourage those of you who are in a position to travel for locums to get on the road, because you will be pleasantly surprised at the number of opportunities that are available for you. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Dr. Stephanie. Thank you for joining me for this Tuesday's edition of Let's Talk Tuesday, sponsored by Floyd Lee Locums. If you have any questions, please message me offline. We will talk soon. Thank you, and bye-bye.